All right, fellas, what's going on? I've been sitting here for the past few hours, looking into some stuff for the project. Wanted to get a jump start on everything. I know the faster we go with this thing, the faster we get it together, the easier it'll be on all of us. So I really looked into a couple of different things, and I put together I gotta call it a drawing board, but really it's just a Word document stating some basic stuff. Just some thoughts, some ideas and stuff. I thought it would be kind of good to start it off, and I wanted to make a video to kind of explain everything on the drawing board page, just in case you're reading, you're like, okay, what is he talking about? So to start off, I basically put the date, of course, and my name beside it, so we'll know who updated what. If you want to update anything, take anything out, feel free. I know it's a group project, and of course, I'm a team player, and I know in order for us to get the best, at the end of the day, we all gonna have to stick it together. So if you want to change anything, just make another section and put your update, your name, and the date for whenever you update it. Just make it easier to keep up with, and it gives us something to show when we meet up in class too. We have something physical. And I started out with the topic, which is basically just what we discussed in class the other day, making a site for information for kids who or whatever who have disabilities, and how they use gaming, how do they game, how do they compare to people that don't have disabilities. And I pretty much stated the primary topic. You can read all of the different types of disabilities that we could possibly pick. Of course, some are more, more, I won't say important, but way easier to find than some of the others. Oh yeah, some of the basic ones, not basic, but basic as far as most people know them. You have ADHD, blindness, autism, and I looked at a Microsoft link. I typed in gaming for kids with disabilities, and actually Microsoft has a page up about that. Of course, when they created the Connect, they opened a lot of opportunities for kids who you know can't really game like we game, using controllers and stuff, and they actually talk about that in different cases. And I provided a link right below that. It's under tip, and it's pretty much saying, okay, we need to pick a set of actual disabilities that we want to cover, because I think one thing that could possibly mess us up if we try to go over too many disabilities, I think that'll push us into a wall. Even though 15 weeks is a lot, it's really not a lot, and it's really I think it's going to stress the whole project out more than we really want it to. That's one thing I think that's important. We have a good contained amount of what we want. So I provided the link so you can look at it yourself. Everything that I looked at, I provided, so we can all talk about it Tuesday when we meet up. Um, Next, you have the explanation for our choice. That's basically just something brief, just in case the professor wants to see it. We'll have something to say. Basically saying that we want to show how gaming helps children who have disabilities, and why we chose children over adults. Just thinking to myself, I was like, okay, I felt kind of selfish at first not involving the adults, but at the end of the day, we all have a soft spot for kids. So I think that's pretty much what led us to fulfill this whole social portion of the project, which you mentioned in class the other day, which is going to be like a big chunk of the grade. I think involving children is something that automatically attracts somebody to what you're talking about. It's sort of like a cheat code almost. Hate to say it that way, but it's the truth, man. Children matter. Children are way more interesting than us. Um, as far as the physical project, just basically talking about the website. I also put the information that would be included in the website, just in case he asks, which is videos, statistics, catalog, surveys. As far as videos, we can find videos off YouTube pretty much discussing the different reactions and everyday activities that the disabled children do when it comes to gaming. And also research footage. Research footage will basically come from when I think later on that paragraph I mentioned where I'm going to interview my little cousin. He has ADHD, so we can use that. I'm going to take footage of that, of how he interacts with games, what he picks, what he likes, what he doesn't like. I'm gonna do everything I can to get video footage of that, and as I said, that'll be pretty big. I think that'll be a step above a lot of the other projects that we'll see. Even though it's not a competition, you still want to look good. You want something strong to hold the backbone of your project, so it'll be memorable. And I think that'll make it very memorable. Statistics, we can pull statistics from journals. I included a journal at the bottom of the page that you can look at. I think it's a lot of information in there that we can pull from it to gather statistics. They even have charts and stuff that has statistics on it. That'd be pretty valuable. Talking about different cognitive skills and other types of scientific skills that I just can't spit off the top of my head, but they're all in that journal. I think that'd be great for us to break down into the site as far as providing information. And also as far as information, I'm pretty sure everybody will know it's going to be an informational site. Even though it's going to be informational, it's going to be intuitive, and not just a boring read line by line to figure out what we're talking about. Of course, it's not going to be that. And I think that's why each of us wanted to do gaming, because it's something that you can, actually see and relate to, because it's something you can physically interact with. The catalog portion, I got the idea for the catalog of the games from the Microsoft website, because they talk about 3 different kids, and each kid has a different disability, and they talk about how they interact with the Connect in different ways. For instance, the first kid has some type of disability where it's too much pressure on her brain, and she can't physically interact with the controller. So when she stepped in front of the Connect, she can actually play the game with her brothers and sisters, because she didn't have to actually know the function of the controller. And the last kid had cerebral palsy, so she was in a wheelchair, so she couldn't stand up and be in front of the Connect, but the Connect still recognized her. So that was pretty big. So I thought that could branch us off into not only the actual games that they could play, but how the hardware has a lot to do with it too. You have, of course, games that can be run by the eyes, run by the hands, touch, man, pretty much anything now. Yeah, I even saw some that were made that could be used by the mouth, and that's in the journal that's below me. I was like, oh, why would I want to play the game with my mouth? But hey, if they got it, I'm pretty sure it helps someone. As far as playing the games with your eyes, I thought that was pretty cool, man. It's a cool video. I put a link for that in the next paragraph. It says, well, actually in the catalog paragraph. I was trying to let you guys understand what I meant by the catalog. So if you read up where it says the catalog portion, blah 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 blah, you'll understand what I'm saying. And I talk about how it's gonna look in the actual site, and that you can look at that in the picture below. My handwriting sucks, so please don't judge me. I'm a guy. I had no time to learn how to write as a kid. I wanted to go outside and play and play video games, so no time to write. I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to that. What else do I want to blabber about? Citations. Don't worry about citations yet. I'm not gonna worry about citations yet. Just URLs, just enough for us to get back to it. We can do the citations at the end. That's the easy part. So also after the URLs, I put the subject of each website, so you won't have to just copy and paste or control click to see what's going on. You could just look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what that's about, or that's what that's about. What else do I want to talk about? I think that's about it. The mock-up of the site, I guess I'll explain that. Where it says direct links, don't pay attention to that. That was just wanting to show you where I thought would be a good spot to put the links. They can be changed, it can be prettier, but of course, with me developing the site, it's not going to be like 5-star pretty, but it's going to work. I feel like that's one of the biggest things. Of course, that's one of the portions of the rubric that's going to help us get a great grade. Is it actually working? And I can make it work. I can also change the basic format where it says, I have like a little square in the middle, of course, which is very standard. I can put it off in the columns and stuff like that, but that's going to take some time because I haven't did web programming in a minute. So, but I can make it happen. Anyway, basically a description of the site. Why are we doing it? It can even be a video. It can even be a group video of us. Whatever we want to do, of course, we have to get together and figure it out how we want to do it. It's not hard. It's really easy. For the quick link options at the bottom, those by the diamonds or at the end of the arrows where you have visibility topics, disability, gaming stats and info, cases and interviews, and catalogs of games. I guess those can be our 4 links. We can add more links. It's really up to you guys. I just thought, right now I'm thinking basic, making it work, making it, relevant, and making it intuitive for the people who are going to use the site too. So Anyway, for the first link, you have visibility visibility, disability topics. Disability topics and descriptions. You have ADHD, blindness, cerebral palsy, and blah blah, whatever other disability we come up with, or if we want to come up with more, or if we want to use any of those three, it doesn't matter. I thought that'd be great for describing actually what disabilities we were talking about, what they do, because even though we may know what they do, after researching, the people who use the site may not know. So I thought it would be great to and put descriptions of each on there, letting them know like what do they do, so it'll apply to the actual catalogs of games. So just say if we talk about blindness, if somebody doesn't know what blindness is, they may think blindness is when somebody can't feel their index finger or something, but that's not what blindness is. So we have to let that be known. Next is the disability gaming stat info, which I said earlier can be drawn from the articles. Next, catalogs of games. We can show the actual games. We can go to, I guess, the Apple Store, the Microsoft Store, and look at different games that they have for disabled kids. Go online and see what they develop, see what they have already in store for kids like that. Because a lot of parents that have kids that are disabled, they don't know what their kids can play. They don't know what's best or what their kid may even like. So I thought that'd be great, and that also gives us a lot of room to talk about the touching games, the games that can be run by the mouth, the eyes, verbal communication, all types of stuff like that, touch, all that type of stuff. And lastly, you have the cases and interviews, which what I really want to do is the videos that I take of my cousin and the interview that I do of his mom. I put up the actual video, embed the video within the page, and also type up the interview that I do of his mom to actually give a description to the viewers of the site, and let them know how he reacts to it. And we can also find other cases as well to compare. It can be children or grown up that that were heavy gamers as a kid and grew up into something else. You know what I'm saying? They grew into other games. They have different favorites due to their age and their maturity, but they still suffer with that. So we can go into all of that, man. I think that'll be really, really good and intuitive, and I think that's pretty much fill us up. And from there, it's just basically what we want to put into it, how beefy we want to make it, and we have a lot of time to beef it up. I think if the foundation is there, then it'll be easier to put the rest of it in there, and that's basically gonna sew us up. And I think it's a lot easier to have a mental foundation of what we want to do, instead of just going all semester like, okay, we could do this. Instead of doing that, we're actually putting stuff into place now. So that's great. Another thing I just thought about, I missed, is the polls. I mentioned polls earlier. I got a ladybug in my room. Anyway, I mentioned polls earlier in the drawing board on the paper. We can use the polls. I thought it would be a cool idea to actually have like at least a poll form, not a poll. I could not think of this word earlier. Conducting a survey. Why I can't remember that, I don't know. Survey. Conduct a survey for people who not the same survey for people who have the disability and do not have the disability, and just come up with stats. I think that'll be something hands-on that we can do, but we can use it or we cannot use it. Either way, just ideas. So I'm almost blabbering 15 minutes. I know you guys are tired of looking at me by now. So that's pretty much the gist of the whole drawing board thing. And again, add what you want to add. Talk to me, send me a video, call me. Either way, I'm good with it. Let's make it work. Team 1. I'm out.